All right, so I know that this is super choppy. Sorry about that. It is what it is. Yeah, so, okay. So here's what we're doing. We're going to make homemade French fries, and we're going to do some brats the way that I like to do them. So let's get to it. So I got a pot of oil over here. I'm going to get it heated up to about 350, 325. And what we're going to do is called blanching the potatoes. Sounds just like it is. So I got this on high. Basically, it's what you would do like if you were blanching a vegetable or something. You would cook it until basically like, you know, it's cooked basically as far as you would want it before you cook it one more time. Like, so if we were to blanch green beans to saute, we would cook them till they're not al dente, but still like a little hard, just nice and green. So it's the same idea here. So I just washed, and I'm going to cut these by hand. You can buy cutters, but you really don't need it. As you can see, I'm just cutting them like such into basically French fry size. Like such. Okay. And there we go. Well, they don't want to go out. Okay. So, yeah, so we're just going to do both potatoes at the same time. Again, you want to make sure that it's not too thick. So the end pieces are always the hardest because obviously, you know, you don't want these little bits, but you also don't want them too thick. So you got to just, it's all about just making sure that they're the right size. So like even if it's just a touch too big and you just got to cut just that little bit off like that, then that's what you got to do. You want to make it look, you know, good and professional. So, all right. So now we got our planks, if you would. And now we're going to cut them into little French fries. Just like that. And there's your French fry. Right? So let's get them in a container. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it straight in the sink. So we're just going to throw them in here like that. I'm just going to cut these guys here real quick like. So I got my oil going, like I said. Let me get my pan going. My nice cast iron over here. Cut these guys. As you can see, I'm using my very nice knife. My favorite knife in the world. I don't remember the brand name. It was made by some Japanese fellas whom have a mom and pop I don't know what you would call it, knife making shop in Japan that I got to see in New York City at a conference of sorts. And, you know, they have really good knives, and I decided to buy one. So, yeah. And it's it's the best knife I've ever used. Super expensive, but totally worth it. And they only make like a certain amount a year, too. So it's like, it's pretty cool in that respect. You know, they do it very old school. All right. So get these potatoes fully cut, and then we're gonna wash these fries 3 times, okay? And by wash, I mean we're gonna fill up the sink with water. We're gonna stir these around. We're gonna drain them off, fresh water, and we're gonna do that 3 times. So nice cold water. I'm filling up the sink. Got my handy dandy spider, skimmer, whatever you want to call it. So it's kind of like when we're washing rice. We're really just trying to get the starch off this so that we don't get like brown potatoes. If you don't do this, you won't get good French fries. If you just cut these and throw them right in the fryer, you'll get what I would call awful French fries. They're not crispy, they're too dark, and frankly, you look like you don't know what you're doing. Homemade French fries should not be dark and soggy. Homemade French fries should be crisp and delicious and amazing, better than anything you could buy in a store. And if they're not that, you're messing it up. This is very easy. This is, I mean, honestly, this is the trick right here. Just wash your potatoes and then blanch them. You know, you also can't make French fries from non-blanched potatoes. You do that, you're going to mess them up again. You know, you have to blanch them. Now, Some people think you have to soak them in cold water overnight. Some people think you have to let them cool down after you've blanched them all the way. I have made literally thousands of pounds of French fries, and depending, I mean, it's so much more dependent on the starch and sugar content in the potato than it does any of that stuff. So one of the reasons I like to use Idaho's is because they're probably the most consistent potato on the market. They have a consistent starch content. They have a consistent sugar content, which, by the way, is very low. And they make very consistent French fries. And sometimes you only have to wash them once, which looks like these guys. I'm gonna wash them 3 times just because I said I was going to. But actually, you know what? No, I'm not, because these are fine. They're coming off. There's no more starch on them. They're perfectly clean. Go right here, and that's that. We're done. So we'll just had to wash them 1 time. One thing with French fries is making sure you have your mise en place, as with most cooking. But we want to make sure that we have our. Actually, that's all dirty. Shoot. Okay. So typically I use like a strainer to make sure the oil strains off, but I don't have any available right now, so we're just going to use a pan. It's fine. I mean, it's really not important because at the end of the day, it's going right back in oil. But what the strainer does do is it makes it just a little bit easier and nicer. So we're at about right about 190. While that heats up, I'm going to cut our veggies for the brats. So we have peppers, and I already washed all this, just so you know. I have some peppers here. God, this knife is so sharp. I love it. I'm just going to julienne them, just like such. And I know usually like peppers and onions, that goes with Italian sausage, not bratwurst. But, you can do whatever you want when you cook. That's the beauty about it. It doesn't matter. You could do sauerkraut with this. If you have sauerkraut, that'd be fantastic. Me and my wife, we like peppers and onions, but we're not that we don't like it, but that's what we do. I got some garlic. Garlic is in just about everything that I cook. And then I just give it just a little. I'm just giving it a little. And like I said, no way is right, more right or more wrong. You like, I suppose. That's how I peel garlic. And yeah, it's pretty easy, and it still looks like whole garlic. I mean, it's a little smushed, but it doesn't matter. We're not in a Michelin-starred restaurant where I need a perfectly, minced piece of garlic. It's fine. All right. So now I'm just gonna slice this, just like such. Let me get this out of the way so you don't have to look at my trash. Always in the compost. Okay, so now we're just gonna nice thin slices like that. Okay, there's that, and this is all gonna cook at the same time. I'm thinking too. I'm feeling a little wily tonight. I think I'm gonna add some bacon to this. And I don't know. I have bacon, whole pound of it. So I'm gonna use a couple slices of bacon. Again, because I can. And why not? Why not? All right, we're at about almost 270 on the oil. So we're about a little less than 100 degrees away. It's going to heat up pretty quick here. We're doing front cut always. Favorite cut. Fast and easy. So, all right. So we got this. Let me get it in a container here. I'll just reuse this guy. No need to dirty more things than I need to. Let's get these in here. Okay. Just like that. Let's get that bacon cut. And we'll start to render that a bit, and that'll give us the fat that we can then cook the brats and the veggies in. All right, so we got some bacon, we got some brats. Just gonna do 2 slices of bacon. I like the thick cut bacon too, but just in general, even for breakfast, I like that nice thick bacon. All right, so we got 2 slices here. The brats over there. Gonna cut them down the center here, and we're just gonna cut them into little slices, just like that. Just like that. Here, I'll turn it so you guys can see. This pan's already pretty hot. I can feel it. We're almost there on the fry oil. All right. Let's get this bacon rendering. So we're just going to throw that right in the pan here. Yeah, you hear that? Okay. Wash my hands real quick. All right, we're almost at 225. We're about 225, so I'm going to add this now. I'm going to use my strainer here to make sure I don't splash too much. So we're just going to add it nice and low. Also want to make sure it doesn't overflow from the water. There we go. Beautiful. All right, we're going to cook this for 6 minutes. So set a timer for 6 minutes. That's all you need to do. You're going to stir it every now and then, but that's it. Once the water's eventually going to evaporate and die down, then you don't have to worry too much about it. All right, let's render this bacon. You see that? We're just going to get that nice and rendered. It starts to brown a little bit. Once it starts to brown, that's when we're going to add our brats and our veggies. We're going to put them both in at the same time. All right. Do you want 4 brats, sweetie? Do you want 4 brats? 2. I mean, just 1? All right, so my wife only wants 1. So we're just going to do 3 brats. It's fine. That means more for me. All right. I'm going to stir these potatoes just a touch. Make sure that they're okay. We want to make sure they're not sticking to the bottom. That's the biggest thing. They're not sticking to the bottom and they're not sticking together. Because the thing is, this is kind of a small pot. It's not a deep fryer. You know, there's no basket keeping it from touching the bottom. So we do have to stir it every now and then. You know, not a lot. It's not, you know, we don't have to get crazy with it, but definitely do have to stir it a little bit. And in case anybody's wondering, I am not going to cook anything with beer. I don't particularly like it with brats. It's okay, but in my opinion, it's kind of just I don't know, it's more of a gimmick than anything. I don't think it really does too much for it. All right, I'm going to add the veggies. This is going to stop the bacon from browning, which is most important right now. You know, we don't want burnt bacon. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt. And we're gonna stir that in. Okay. And we're gonna let these wilt just a bit. You know, this is, believe it or not, the veggies actually take longer than the bratwurst to cook to where we want it. You know, we want these to kind of caramelize a little bit. We want these to get nice and cooked down, and, you know, just nice and, you know, again, caramelized. So, all right, we're gonna let that sit for a second. Stir our potatoes again. We're about halfway through on the cook for these French fries, at least for the blanching portion. Now you can see here, this is exactly what I'm talking about, that it started to brown a little bit. So we want to avoid that as much as possible. That's why we have to stir it somewhat frequently. Again, be careful. This is 300-degree oil. You don't want to like stir it crazy. A little bit. It just needs a little bit. Hang on, let me get this thermometer in a place that doesn't move. There we go. That's better. That's better. All right. We got to watch this thermometer too. We don't want it to get too hot. But really, I mean, don't buy a fry-later. You don't need one. Just use a pot. And if you're not comfortable with a pot this size, use a spaghetti pot. It's fine. It's no big deal. These thermometers cost like $10. A hell of a lot cheaper than a fry-later. And these cost maybe $10. I don't even know. We got that at like an Asian market for like nothing. So yeah, just spend $20 and get something that's more useful. And these will last forever. That's the other difference. No, you don't need a deep fry. You don't need one more appliance in your house. Believe me, somebody who has way too many appliances, you don't need another one. All right, so these are cooking down. We're almost where I want it. You know what? I think we're where I want it, actually. So I'm going to move these to one side. So this is kind of like how like a griddle cook would cook in like a diner or something like that. You know, they kind of move stuff to the side, let it do its thing. And that's kind of what we're treating this cast iron like as if it was a griddle. So yeah, so I'm moving it. We got half our stuff on one side. And now we're going to take our brats and we're just going to cook them right here. All right. Get this to the temp that we want, which is about mid-low. And then I'm going to grab a lid. And we're going to let this steam. And the moisture from the veggies are going to cook the brats, and the brats are going to leak some moisture, and they're going to cook with the veggies, and it's just going to be a lovely, wonderful marriage of juices. Let me wrap this bratwurst here and put it back in the fridge. All right, so our fries are just about done. We got another couple seconds on the timer. Can you see the timer from there? You can. Look at that. Nice. All right, so these, if you're not using a timer, you can feel how they change. However, even me, again, who's done literally tens of thousands of pounds of French fries, I would never not use a thermometer or a timer. I just won't. Because, again, done it so many thousands of times, so many thousands of pounds, that there's no purpose in not using a timer and a thermometer. I mean, unless you want to mess everything up. So that's it. So they're not brown, right? They don't look like French fries. They just look like potatoes. That's exactly what we want. So these aren't French fries yet. These are just blanched potatoes. And again, when you blanch, I'm not talking about water. It's in oil. Oh man, my thermometer holder piece just came off a bit. Let's see if I can pop it back in. Nope. Oh, there it goes. Kind of. Well, whatever. I'll fix it once everything's cooled down. It's fine for now. All right, so again, we're watching the temperature. We're at about 260. This time we absolutely need to get it to 350. So one thing I like to do just in case my timing's off, which happens, I'm going to heat the oven up to about 170. That's just going to keep us a nice warm spot. So like if I need to hold the stuff, I can do that. If I need to hold the French fries, I can do that. Nothing gets cold, a lot less stress. Now, let me get rid of this cutting board because I don't need it anymore. Now we have these wonderful brioche buns. I did not actually want them, but it's all that was left at the store, so that's what we have. I prefer to warm up my buns. So about 5 minutes until we're ready to eat, I'm going to pop these in this warming oven and just let them warm nice and slowly. Warming oven's hot. That was fast. So yeah, look at these gorgeous buns. Look at that. Look at those guys. They're gorgeous. All right, close this bad guy back up. All right, so I can hear my bratwursts. They're starting to sizzle and pop. And yeah, I can see now that my onions and stuff are starting to brown. So I'm going to give this a little stir here, just a little flippy flip. Get that stuff that's cooking on the bottom, you know, not on the bottom anymore. Stir it nice and in there. And I smell a little bit of burning. Not like ruined burning, but definitely a little bit too dark. So I think that's probably the brats. Oh, maybe not. It's okay though. It's not, like I said, it's not ruined, but it's just I can smell that it's cooking a bit darker than I would have wanted. So there, we're gonna flip these guys. And then one of the other things that we're gonna do, like when the brats are basically brown on both sides, I'm gonna like flatten out the peppers and onions. And we're going to cook the brats on top of those, so that way the peppers and onions, again, caramelize a little bit more, get a little bit more brown. The bratwurst cook all the way through. We don't have to worry about it. And yeah, that's that. All right, we're at about 315 on the oil. We grab the condiments. So we have my homemade ketchup, which I'm sure you're at this. If you've watched any of my channel, I'm sure you're surprised that I make my own ketchup. Not. And we also have my homemade mustard. This is a beer caraway mustard that I developed. It uses basically the Dijon and whole grain mustard, and then it uses beer and I don't remember what else, and toasted caraway seeds, and then I use a little bit of xanthan gum to basically thicken it so that you have that nice fresh beer taste. Cool stuff. You can buy xanthan gum. You didn't used to be able to buy it like anywhere, but nowadays you can get it like Target and shit. It's pretty common. So yeah, not a lot to do right now except for wait for things to heat up. Wait for these brats to cook. Again, we have to make sure this is at 350. As you'll notice, my oil has been on high the entire time because when I add the potatoes to it, the heat it loses drastically. Even if you have like a super thick cast iron, you're still going to lose a lot of heat from your oil. The cast iron will maintain the heat better, but you're still going to lose a fair amount of heat. And one of the downsides to deep frying in cast iron, well, there's a couple of downsides, supposedly. One of which, according to Alton Brown, is it like makes it taste like iron. I don't know about that. But because it withstands heat so well, if you're using an electric stove specifically, it's much harder to regulate. Whereas like with the stainless steel, because it's more reactive quickly, it's a little bit easier to change the temperature. So, okay, so we're at 350 now. This is starting to smell really good. I'm gonna stir these veggies again. And I know that looks like a ton of veggies, but I'm telling you, it's gonna cook down even more. So we're gonna let this brown just a bit more. I'm not 100% happy with where that's at, so I'm gonna let that keep going. All right, we're at 350. We're gonna add blanched potatoes. Careful, your pan might be hot, like mine is. Just gonna add those back in. I used my spider there to make sure that it didn't all over me. And now, again, we have different schools of thought here. There's plenty of people, and, you know, I mean, I don't know if anybody's right or wrong. There's lots of folks that think you should use a rack to strain your potatoes. There's people that think you just throw them, or your french fries. There's people that think you should just throw them right into a bowl and salt, and that should be it. And then the way that I learned from my chef mentor, whom we, again, made thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of french fries, we use paper towel. Typically, we don't do it in a pie pan like I'm doing. We would do it in like a larger container, but this is what we have, and it's fine. So I'm going to use paper towels, and that's going to soak up some of the moisture, and then we're going to put salt on it, which is also going to soak up more of that oil. And, you know, we're going to make sure we drain it well before we put it on there. And, you know, it works fine. It's good. It's fine. Like, it doesn't make it soggy. I mean, if you keep it in there for a super long time, yeah, it's going to mess it up. But as long as you don't do that, you'll be fine. All right, so based on smells, these feel pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull them off here real quick. Stir these veggies on here. And like I said, I'm going to make like a little pepper and onion bed. And then we're just going to throw these guys right on top. And this way I don't have to worry about them burning or overcooking. You know, they're on top of the onions and it's done. I don't have to worry about it now. They're done. As far as I'm concerned, this part of the dish is done. Now, like I said, 5 minutes out, we're going to heat our buns. We're probably less than 5 minutes out. Those fries already look pretty brown. So I'm going to throw these in here, and hopefully we're good. Hopefully my timing's not too far off. But yeah, you can see these guys are already getting pretty close. Now, however, they are not close. We still have another couple of minutes on these. We want to get these nice and cooked. You know, we're still looking for a golden brown on these guys. You know, I don't want soggy frickin' french fries. I hate soggy french fries. So it looks like all the cameras are still working. Barely though, right? Is this one working? Let's see. Well, I don't see anything happening. Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm just delayed like 10 seconds apparently. So that's lovely. All right, French fries are almost done. And I'll admit, had we let these French fries cool down all the way, they probably would have cooked even better. You know, because they were already kind of hot. So had they been like more cold and gone in cold, I do think it would have made a better product. But, you know, we're doing this quick and it's fine. I mean, they still look freaking awesome. Let me get the plates out. Let's get the plates out. All right. Get that. Move the beer out of the way. Got about another minute on these fries. You can also tell when they have less liquid. You see how the bubbles get so much smaller. It's not as foamy. There's just not as much moisture coming out. So that's another really great sign for good crispy fries. Now, we don't want there to be no bubbles because that would mean that they're, you know, super dry and not good. But we do want them to definitely be crispy on the outside. So we're going to give these guys just another. They're really close, though. These are really close. I mean, I don't even know if it needs another whole minute. Now, one thing I'm going to do just for safety's sake is I'm going to test the temperature of the brats. Hang on, I got to put this bacon away real quick. Totally forgot to do that. This put in the fridge. Don't need to be forgetting about that. All right. I'm going to just temp these guys real quick. I'm pretty confident they're done. We're looking for 165 on these guys. It is ground meat, so we want to make sure it's cooked all the way. Looks like we're going to hit about 145, so we're not quite there. I'm going to pull these off real quick like. And see, this is why we heated up the oven. Oh, and look at those veggies. Oh, they're starting to get that nice brown caramely goodness. it looks so good. All right. If you wanted to throw herbs or something in this, like some sage or some oregano, you could do that too. You know, there ain't nothing against that. Me and my wife, we're kind of white trash, so we just like it straight up. All right, these fries are done. Any more, and they're just going to be hard and gross. So I'm going to pull these out, drain them like such, right on the paper towel here. And unfortunately, because these were done a little bit sooner than the brats, which, maybe I should have finished the brats all the way before I fried these again. They might get a touch soggy. We'll see. We will see. You could always put them back in to fry again, but the problem with that is then they get like greasy and oily. I'm killing the heat on the oil, by the way. And now we're gonna add salt. A healthy amount of salt. Not too much. We're not looking for, hypertension over here. So I'm just gonna toss those in. You see how I'm just tossing it just to kind of get some of the oil off. We get the salt all around. Oh, fuck me. That's so good. All right, these are going right in here. Buns are getting warm. These need another minute. Something you should do whenever you temp something with a thermometer, you should always wash it afterwards, because that means that, it's just touched something that was a critical control point and possibly dangerous, no way to possibly get you sick, blah, 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 blah. Oh man, those french fries are good. All right, let's see where we're at here. These are going to cook very fast, by the way. I mean, when they steam's a very fast way of cooking them. The only thing that would be faster if I threw these in the oil over here. It looks like we're going to hit about 155. Which would probably be good enough for the home cook, or for me and my wife. We got iron stomachs, but for the sake of continuity, and the sake of making sure I teach people to cook without getting themselves sick, we're going to go to 155. By the way, that's Fahrenheit, not Celsius. Hopefully everybody realizes that. That'd be very hot for Celsius. I'm pretty sure that would be what y'all would call fucked. So we're just going to give it another couple minutes, and then that's that, and then it's done. So, yeah. I don't know, that's it. It's pretty easy stuff here. So yeah, so this mustard here, I love this stuff. So like I said, I use this caraway, which I bought. It's the only caraway I can find, but this is what I use, just basic whole caraway. You toast it, you do a rough grind on it, you mix it with some Dijon, some whole grain, and then like I said, you can find, because oh boy here, what's his name, Red or whatever, at least here in America, Bob's Red Mill, he makes xanthan gum now, and it's available in most major stores. It's called what's called a hydrocolloid, which basically means that it changes the texture or viscosity of a liquid, or I guess a fluid, but definitely a liquid. And what it does, the cool thing about it is it'll thicken things without any heat. So like typically when we're cooking, we might thicken a sauce with cornstarch or flour or arrowroot. But what those things all need is they need heat applied. Even gelatin and agar-agar need heat applied at some point. What xanthan gum does is it does it without any heat. So you literally can just mix it in and it'll thicken a liquid, which I know sounds stupid and simple, but one of the reasons I use that for my beer mustard, is because I don't want the beer to taste cooked. It's like the difference between cooked orange and fresh orange juice. It's significantly different. When you cook beer, you develop the hops more, you pull out all these flavors, you just denature the beauty of the beer that you're using, and you kind of lose those nuances. But when you use them nice and raw and uncooked, it really, it's just a very, very nice mustard and really keeps the integrity of the beer that you're using. All right, let's temp this one here. This looks good. It smells fantastic. I think we're done. Oh, yeah. Look at that. It's jumping quick. Okay, that's going to hit 165, no problem. Okay. So, I want to pull these brats off. I'm going to stir this around here. Oh, look at that. Yeah, so we're not burnt. We're caramelized. We're dark. It's gorgeous. That's what we're putting on our brats. Look at how awesome that looks. Oh, my God. It almost has like a soy sauce smell to it because it's got so much umami and browning and all that Maillard. And, oh, delicious. All right. So here's our buns. It's going to open them up a little bit. Going to get our brats in here. Let's get them in there. Tips up, right? Just like that. This guy in here. Yeah, it does have like an overwhelmingly soy sauce aroma. That's crazy. All right. Let's get these guys. Nice. Tong full. Oh, look at that. Oh, that might have been too much. I might have put too much on that one. It's okay, though. We'll see. Oops. Hot. All this good out of here. Again, typically I make this much for like 4, but you know, my wife only wants 3, so it's fine. Now these are just stacked. They're just stacked. Look at that. You're not full after that. I don't know what your problem is. Maybe you have a worm or something. All right. Let's get these here, that there. Let's get some mustard. Oops. Not that kind of oops, buddy. My dogs are trained that when I say oops, it means something fell on the ground. Isn't that lovely? Jesus. Some of this mustard's all over the place. I think I need more mustard. That's the mustard. I know I got more somewhere. Here it is. Wait, nope, that's just regular ground. There we go. There's the caraway. Or maybe this is caraway. I don't even know anymore. I made so much of this caraway mustard, it's ridiculous. All right. There we go. That looks better. Just a straight caraway mustard turd. All right. Homemade ketchup. Oh, yeah, this is messy. All right. Get these fries out. Let's see. Hopefully they're not too soggy. You know, they're not as crispy as they were fresh out of the fryer, but they'll be all right. They're still better than your average Joe's French fries. So let's get these out of here. Those right there. Pan is hot, just so you know. So you definitely, obviously, it was in an oven. If you didn't figure that out, I don't know what to tell you. But that, there you go, man. Those are your brats and fries for game night, fight night, whatever you're doing.